Today we're going to talk about Jeffrey Dahmer's military career. We're not going to talk about his murders and all the things that are going on right now with the new series out about Jeffrey Dahmer. Today I just want to talk about his military career because there's a piece missing from that only certain people are aware of. Yes, we all know that in the documentary series there's a brief mentioning of him being a combat medic in Germany, and he was in Germany for 2 years in Baumholder, I believe. And he was over there and got out or kicked out of the army for alcoholism in Germany. And he did get an honorable discharge, however. But what happened before he went to training at Fort Sam Houston to be a combat medic? Well, he was in military police basic training and military police school. How do I know this? Well, I have an Army buddy right here, Marty Bett, who I served 3 years with in Germany as a military policeman. And Marty Bett went to basic training at Fort McClellan, Alabama in 1979. And I went in 1978, a year before him, and then was shipped to Germany. Marty went in 79 and then was shipped to Germany. Well, Marty Bett was in basic training, military police basic training with Jeffrey Dahmer. As you can see here, as evidenced by this photo, Marty Bett is up at the top. I marked it in red. Jeffrey Dahmer's photo is down at the bottom. Jeffrey Dahmer made it 5 weeks in military police training, long enough to get his picture put in the album. Now, he was then transferred out, resigned or quit the MPs and transferred over to Fort Sam Houston, where he became the medic that you hear about. But how was he in military police training? Well, Marty Bett explains that the first night they were in basic training, Jeffrey Dahmer sobbed like a little girl, was crying and crying, saying, "I should have never joined the Army. I made a mistake. I should have never joined the Army." He also, at one point, told my Army buddy, Marty Bett, that he was going to cut off his pinky finger so he could get out of the Army. And my buddy told him, if you do anything to bring distraction or bring the drill sergeants down on us, I will, beat the hell out of you, basically, is what he told Jeffrey Dahmer. He said Dahmer was definitely a sheep. Yes, he's a killer. Yes, he lured his victims in. Yes, he drugged them and then took advantage of them. But he was not, he was definitely a sheep and a coward. That's what he got from talking to Jeffrey Dahmer when they had a chance in basic training during the day, which is very little. And then at night, since they were only bunked 6 feet away, he had a chance to talk to him. And he said Dahmer was a chatterbox, just chatter, chatter, chatter all the time. He said he was definitely not a good troop, definitely would have been dangerous. Could you imagine? Marty and I talked about Marty's experience, and he said, could you imagine Dahmer actually finishing military police school and then going out in a patrol car in Germany, where Marty and I ended up, or wherever, Korea or stateside even? He could have had a military police uniform, military police patrol vehicle, and done a lot of damage. Marty said a couple of folks came forward later and stated that he had tried to sexually molest them in basic training. I guess that never got reported, but he was shipped over to the medics where he served. And when he was in Germany for 2 years, it makes me wonder what he did over there in Germany that was never found out. 2 years over there. He was already a killer. Marty had explained, here I am 6 feet away from a guy who had already killed someone before he joined the Army in 1979. In 1978, he killed Stephen Hicks, June of 1978. June of 78, I was in basic training, and Jeffrey was out there already committing his first murder, and now my buddy is next to him, not knowing, of course, that he was a killer, not knowing what the future would bring. And Marty said, if I would have just let him go ahead and cut off his pinky finger, I wonder if that would have changed anything. and we both agreed it probably wouldn't have. He'd have got out of the military and never become a medic, but he would have gone on with his ways, regardless of pinky finger or no pinky finger. He also said that he was concerned when he talked to this guy. You know, this guy was just definitely out there. Forget the exact words he used, but he did say he was out there. Here's a picture, by the way, of Jeffrey Dahmer on the M60 range with an M60 machine gun. That's the drill sergeant over top of him, setting the sights on the 60. But that's Dahmer behind an M60 machine gun. That's kind of scary, isn't it? Knowing what type of mentality this guy had. But he was a type of person that wouldn't do anything, my buddy said, around the men in basic training. You know, as he said, he was a sheep. He needed to have that opportunity alone with someone to drug them and take advantage of them. So he was pretty much a sheep in basic training in the military police corps. Now, I don't know why the military police part was left out, because you can Google Jeffrey Dahmer's military history. It'll tell you all about him being a medic and going to Fort Sam Houston for training, and it'll tell you about him where he served as a medic and so forth. But it doesn't say anything about him enlisting first in the military police and failing out and moving on. He ended up with the Combat Medic 2nd Battalion, 68th Armored Regiment, 8th Infantry Division, over there in Germany. So from McCullen, which is never mentioned, MP school, to Fort Sam Houston is where the media picks up, and then his time in Germany. He was an alcoholic, the Army said, and discharged from the Army, but they felt he could have an honorable discharge. They did not give him a dishonorable. So a little history there on Jeffrey Dahmer's military time. A little piece of history that was not in Wikipedia, not anywhere in the media, not in the documentary. Marty Bett, my Army buddy, has first-hand knowledge, and whoever else served in that 1979 military police basic training MP school with Marty Bett would also have seen Jeffrey Dahmer in there. But it must be a well-kept secret that he did serve some time with the military police. And I thought it's just interesting, since I was in the military police. Marty Bett's my buddy and had first-hand experience with Dahmer, who had an IQ, by the way, of 145, but did not apply it very well when it came to testing and schooling. It is noted that his drinking had a lot to do with that, but you can't drink in basic training. They keep you for the first several weeks contained where you can't get out, so I don't know what caused him to fail the MP school, other than he didn't want to be there, as Marty had said. Wanted out any way he could. He actually told Marty that when they were transferring him from the military police school to Fort Sam Houston, that he was never going to show up at Fort Sam Houston. He wasn't going to go. But as you can see, he ended up going and ended up going through that school and was a medic for 2 years. All right. Thank you very much for watching. A little history on Jeffrey Dahmer from first-hand news from a person who was there and seen that, done that. We call it Marty Bett Meets Jeffrey Dahmer. That's the title Marty gave it. Marty Bett Meets Jeffrey Dahmer, firsthand. Thank you very much for watching, everybody. Please subscribe. True Prison Stories, Gary York.